Okay, I think we're live. Cult report number 32. Got the boys here ready to rip in our new format. Let's
Let's get it.
go. Let's go. All right, share my screen. Are we live? Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we're good.
All right. So to hit it off this week is this has been like kind of like a guiding light in our world since 2017. As you start learning about cult stuff, you start learning about how the brain works, you start realizing that people are just wired to be together. And when you're not, people get really lonely. People are lonely. And it's just getting worse. The more connected we get online, the more disconnected we get P2P. So the world is more isolated than ever. In 2021, we just updated these stats. 2021, it was like, what did it say, 21% of people? 23%?
Yeah, something like that.
It's like shockingly low. The boys are on the phone outside. It's like, that's got to be higher these days. So Ricky looked into it. The WHO says 1 in 6 people are now globally lonely. Is that worse? I thought it was 6 out of 10 people.
I feel like that was the original stat, but below you have the American Psychological Association says
Yeah, there it is. There
6
it
out of
is.
10.
There it is. That makes sense.
Over 50% of people are lonely.
Yeah, I'm like,
Moral
this
of
is
the
like
story.
15%. I'm like, that's crazy. No, 60% of people are lonely. It's a fundamental human belonging issue. So that's the state of the world, and it's clearly getting worse. So, yeah, Ricky found this. You want to talk about that?
Simple math. 6 out of 10 people are lonely, isolated, or lack companionship. So it just goes to show it's like, yeah, everything's moving online and more convenience, but yeah, people need people. Less and less community online and offline. And so yeah, you can't solve a belonging issue with content. That's the moral of the story. That's the whole cult creator model is that, people build communities based on content and then just hope that the right people find their way in and want to engage and pay and stay for life. But it kind of works backwards. You need to build for belonging and the content's a reflection of that. So it's not about more videos, more modules, more posts because, nobody ever felt connected when they watched the same Loom video. We bond over the same things. It's not that we bond over the same things we learned, it's that we bond over the same things we do. Because that's how you get the mirror neurons to fire is you turn content into rituals so that people post themselves doing stuff and then they see other people like themselves doing the same things and they are naturally and subconsciously bonded together for it. So that's where, community becomes an isolation cure. That's like the nuts of the why behind why we do what we do.
And a big nut behind how and what we do behind what we do. Because like the classroom is like, yeah, it's kind of necessary because a lot of our people are coaches. But even still not. Like I remember D or Des, like one of the like top schooler guys, and he's like, it just seems like everybody has a curriculum in their school. It's like, what about the people that don't? And because we're always dealing with coaches, it's like, I don't know. But like still fundamentally it comes down to what do you do together because you can't really have a good cohesive bond. You can't have a good school if there's not like what do we do together. And so that is a huge part of curing isolation because it's how the brain is works. We have these tribal neurons and they don't fire when you learn something. They fire when you're doing the same thing with like-minded people together. So we found this really cool one, the cult brand breakdown to prove this, Parkrun. So I also love that this was started by a guy who was depressed, just to really tie this whole thing together. And so he just wanted to run with his homies. He's like, running, it creates endorphins. He had a PR of like 2.5 hour marathon, pretty good. And so he was just like, clearly liked to run, but he didn't have anyone to run with. So he just set one up and he just invited 13 friends and he had a stopwatch. And it was in 2004, October like 2nd in Bushy Park in London. And it's just like, hey, we're going to run a 5K. It's free. And whoever shows up, and then it's like next week, and the next week, and the next week, same time, same place. And it's one of these, eventually you just like, you have your own barcode. So I think you sign up, you get this barcode, you either have to like bring it printed or like on your phone or whatever. And then they would put this onto something. Like there'd be all these volunteers now. And so if you don't have your barcode, you run for nothing. If you do have a barcode, then it goes into the system so that it's actually tracked and it shows that you were there. And then you have that feeling of accomplishment. But It started with people just saying, "Hey, we're going to run a 5K. We're going to get coffee." And so it's like rituals. Yeah, the ritual of running, but then the ritual of the social ritual of getting coffee after. And then it quickly spiraled. There's now 21 countries. Zimbabwe was country number 2, which I thought was crazy. And then the UK just logged their 50 millionth finisher. So 21 countries around the world, and it's just simple rituals, right? It's run together and then get coffee together. But then, of course, human nature has taken this further, and that's the whole belonging engine. It's like you just have to create the structure and then let people and human nature just ramp it up and amplify. And so the park runners, which again is an identity, then they created the alphabeteer challenge. And so they would travel to different events beginning with every letter of the alphabet, A through Z, in terms of locations. So people would be flying around the world to nail this challenge. And then people also created the stopwatch bingo. So that try to collect every finish time from 00 to 59. And so I
Cool
don't know
idea.
how many times you have to do that. That's, I mean, 60 times if you hit it perfectly. So that's crazy. But
Good
then they created,
retention metric.
yeah, true.
Now you got
Yeah,
a mission.
coming back, coming back, coming back. And so then, yeah, then insider uniformity, right? So a big part of human nature, human bonding, cult bonding, one of our principles, uniformity, right? Like, what do you look like is safety in the brain. And so when you create your own little uniformity within your own tribe crew, then they had the unofficial cow cowl. And so I don't even know really what that is, but like they had their own kind of like little uniforms so that they could recognize each other. And so it didn't just give people somewhere to run, it gave them a world to belong to. And that's full Kool-Aid, baby. And so,
Yeah, I was
yeah,
like, we were talking about maybe we should, start a chapter around here. We like to run. We started a run club, but I see there is Parkrun, London, Ontario, whatever, run club in Kiwanis, but they've had 302 events and they still run it every week. So like
really?
it's just popping. It's everywhere.
How do we
I
not
can't
know
believe I
about
didn't
that?
even know that. Yeah. And then of course they meet up for coffee at the same place every week.
Where'd they go? Does it
And
say?
they have like it looks like every location has its own kind of page and stats updated weekly. So you can see how many events, finishers, volunteers, personal bests, average finish time, groups, and the last stats were updated today.
No way. Apparently,
Yeah,
they
it's
removed
crazy.
the stats for a while because they thought it would deter people from the inclusivity of showing up. And then people rallied and they're like, no, that gives us hope. And we know hope is a powerful human emotion. So it looks like they brought it back.
Cool.
But even like the sub niche of like, you can volunteer and that will work towards your milestones because they have different shirts 50, 100, 250. And I guess volunteering is a way to like climb these ranks without ever running a step. And they have somebody at the very end. So you're never the last runner. They have somebody who walks and is behind everybody. So you never finish last because that's also like a deterrent for people in run clubs, especially races. They
Cool.
figured it out. And it's just because this guy was depressed and wanted to, run with people, he created a whole world for people to belong to. So,
Smart. Love it.
Parkrun. So, and I mean, this is what we do. So this is what we did with Jared Wells, Rep.INDIE. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, like when he came to us, he's like, I have a marketing problem. We're like, you don't have a marketing problem. He's like, yeah, I need my ads to convert. Like, I'm basically running a sales team here and I hate it. It's not what I signed up for. I just want to like help people. And we're like, you don't have a marketing problem. And so we're like, I think you have an offer problem. And so it's just like, what are people buying into? Like, there's something fundamentally missing that's causing people to not want to join and not want to keep paying. And that's why you have this problem. And so he took a chance on us and like signed up for our cohort back when we were running that. But yeah, it was like he was um catering to all indie artists. And we're like, that's not how you build a tribe, right? You got to build for people like yourself. And he was a hip hop artist. So we're like, all right, we'll get the country people and the pop singers and whatever out of there, right? It's for hip hop. And so once he did that, we tightened up the mission, tightened up the philosophy, all the things, you get it. Then, yeah, he started having the right people showing up and the right people doing the rituals and following the content and meeting up offline and giving him referrals and getting results. And I mean, one guy had one track hit every milestone and merch unlocked at once. So it was like huge
Holy
social
shirts.
proof as he did an unboxing of every reward because his one track hit this milestone, this milestone, this milestone, this milestone. I mean, best case scenario, but like all of that shit wasn't in place before. So before it was just here's content. Instead, we put him on a mission for the same people. And I'm not sure what he's at MRR wise right now, but in terms of that tribal belonging, he's crushing it.
I think
Or
he's
at least
above
he
10.
was. He's gone quiet because he had a little baby daughter.
Little baby girl, little baby G. But at least he fell back in love with it. It was something he's like, I just have to shut down. And then eventually, as people are like, this is potent now. And then people start sharing, meeting up offline, wearing the shirts, referring before he even had an affiliate program. So that's what happens when you build the right world, you build the culture, and then let it fly.
You
So
get it.
this week, create some rituals, right? So your community published more content last week than Parkrun has published in 22 years. And so it's not about more content, it's about how you can turn that into things we do together, into rituals that we do together. So, what do you got to know? Then what do you got to do? And it's the doing that activates the mirror neurons that actually solve isolation, creates belonging, and creates a customer cult.
Yes, don't try to give customers and members what they want. Solve for belonging because that's what people really want and actually need. Because isolation and loneliness is equivalent to 15 cigarettes a day. That
Yuck.
shit's killing people. So go save some lives. Build for belonging.
It's the least you could do.
So that's what we're doing.
Just community doctors here.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Cool.
But
All
that's
right.
the wave.
That's what we got this week. Ride that wave.
Report.
If you're in the crew, we'll see you in happy hour in 12 minutes. Let's get it.
Let's get it. All right. See you next week.
Peace.